So hello everyone, welcome again to the NextTS rule course. And today we are going to talk about the class 10, which is create a customer hook. In the last class, we have already created a customer hook for creating a new user and using our mock that we just have created in the last classes too. But now we are going to basically inject this into the component because we have already created the hook itself. We don't need, the only thing that we need now is just applying that to the directly to the company, so we can effectively create a new customer. Just remember that this video is sponsored by X-Team, one of the amazing companies to find remote jobs all around the world. And today, let's go directly to the class 10, which will not be the longer class today. The only thing that we need to do first, let's move out to our studio code, Visual Studio Code. If you don't have the link for getting this class and all the course, you can grab this down below here in the description of the video. Everything is hosted on GitHub, and each of the classes are separated through branches. So as this is the class 10, we are on the branch class 10. So you can follow the content of each of the classes through each of the branches of the repo. And also there's a documentation, also support Portuguese too if you don't want to follow this course in English. Okay, and now in the last class we have created our hooks. If you don't remember, the hooks are basically just recapping in the last class, hooks are basically a way of managing the state individually for each of the components, and also using hooks for fetching asynchronous calls and when the results appear, those results will be reflected in your component as a state. So you don't need to keep waiting or do any another process behind this. Everything it is automated by React query. Just remember that a query in React query, it is basically a search operation, a get request that or any asynchronous operation that are going to request information. And a mutation is when you are changing. Basically, we're changing. You are doing a post, a put, and a delete request for changing data, mutating data from your server or your application for whatever business needs and requirements you have. And basically, remember that in the last class, if we go to the index in the pages and in the index.tsx, we use the hooks that we created called use customers. And one of the things that we can do is, if you use command, if you are using a Mac, you can use command, and if you are using Windows, you can use control. You basically in VS Code, you basically keep pressing this button and click in the function that will take you to the file where this function is defined. And if we go here to use query, we will go inside the package of React query, and basically we can see, if we go, it is written in Typescript too. And if we go to use query result, we will be able to see all the attributes that this guy returns. And as we can see here, is just the data. But if we do that, if I will close this one because will be too many files open. But if we go to the mutation here and the use mutation one, and in the mutation result, we will see that all of those attributes can be returned to us if we use that mutation. So basically, if you are in doubt of what attribute those functions return, this is a good practice. Every time you don't know which set of attributes a function or a library that you're using, a third-party package that you're using on your application, you can basically query going directly to the package and seeing the interface, the attributes that the interface returns to you. So I would leave this open so we can take a look here, whatever we needed. And let's go to create, which is the component that we created for creating new customers. And what we are basically doing here, we are basically inserting, we are going, as we created our hooks, the first thing that we are going to do here, it is importing. We are going to first just leave this empty for now. And then we are going to use mutation create customer, which is the mutation that we created last class. This doesn't receive any parameters, but if we go back here, there is a lot of things that we can use it. We are going to use this error one, which is the error if something goes wrong. Is error is the boolean that tells us if an error has happened. The loading for telling that our if we send this mutation that it is currently loading, it haven't returned yet. Is success for if everything went well. The mutation itself, which will be, and the mutate, which is the method that we can call for effectively mutating data, and reset, which is the method that we can use for resetting the mutation if we are going to do another one. So we are going to import all those guys that we just have seen. It will be error, is error. The next one will be is loading. The next one will be is success. The next one, mutate, which is the function that we are going to effectively call, and reset, which is another function for resetting when we have everything done. Basically, this we will complain because it's not used yet, but no worries, we are going to use this just now. I'm already running the application, so as you guys can see, this was the last point that we got in the application in the last class. We are already using our hooks and our mocks. Remember that we don't have an API yet, so we are basically intercepting this in returning for the sample data that we have. And here in the create customer, we haven't defined the hooks yet. So, but we are going to do that now. And coming back here again, we are basically, let's finish setting this up. And basically here on submit, the only thing that I will change here, because remember that we were not invoking any post request or any process. We were just, in the last class, we just configure a console log for printing the form data that we are trying to submit. But now we are going to effectively submit, use mutate. And basically it is mutate form data, just this, the method that we just have imported. And then we are going to create another, here up above, we are just going to import one thing that is important, called a router, using the use router guy, which is basically for getting the router where we can switch through the pages using commands. And here what I'm going to do is, if it is, if my attribute is success, if this is true, it means that my mutation was successful and I have already created data, the customer that I want to create, so I don't need to still stay on that page. I need to go to the index page to see if this customer was added to the table. So if it is success, I can use my router that I just have imported. Router, oh hell, router, and push using this method here. I will basically push and send to this guy here, to the. And now another thing that I can do, that I need to do actually, is if I will create another if clause here, is error. If something goes wrong, I will need to print the message of what went wrong. So first thing that I would do is just reset this, because this wasn't successful, so I need to reset this and set error message to the, I will put error, but first here we need to do typecast error as any dot message, because otherwise it will complain about, and as the error can be any, and this is not a good practice always in TypeScript to put any of the things, but those errors in that cases are too wide, are too broad, so we need to put any for that case. And then we don't want our message to keep appearing a long period of time, so we are going to create a new function here up above, create, just name it time out error, which is basically if something goes wrong with our request, an error message will be shown in the form, but after 5 seconds or 4 seconds, whatever, we don't want to display this anymore, just to improve the user experience of the UI. And we are going to use this function set timeout, and we are just going to set error message again as empty. And basically we have put for 5,000 milliseconds, which will be 4 seconds. And basically another thing that I forgot one guy here. Great. And here we need what we need here. Oh, we don't need this one. Great. And now we just need to format this. Okay. So we need the timeout error. So every time an errors occur, we are going to create to call timeout error to show the error message just for 4 seconds, which is enough. Okay, everything's okay here. The only thing that I need to change to it is we can add a new loading part to our table now. So basically here after create customer, what I can do is I will put this guy here is loading, because we are going to show our loading component that we created when the user submits the form and wait until the form submission is completed. So we can use a parenthesis here. Remember that every time we put these curly braces here inside the return of a component, it is that because we are inserting code. We are inserting JavaScript or Typescript code in the middle of this. So if it is loading, we are basically calling our component that is named loading that we created some classes ago. And if not, the only another thing that we are going to do, it is return this guy here. Return all those guys that we had in the last class, which will be this entire div here, basically. No. Yeah, great. So if we take a look here, everything's formatted, and here just one thing, it is plenty not formatted, but we can execute the command npm run linked for formatting our code. We don't need to to have a painful time formatting all manually. We can format it. Oh, this is a magic. That's why I love this. And now everything's formatted for us. We can run the project again. Npm run dev. If we run, we will see that everything is okay here. So let's go back to the application. Let's go back to the index page. Just check from the beginning. So let's wait a little bit, just until the application renders. And just remember, we are in the class 10. We have support to the Portuguese version. In the next class, we are going to talk more until we have 20 classes, and from the 15th class, we are basically going to start working on APIs, and then in the deployment part and CI/CD part, which is the DevOps part of the course. And okay, we have here the first page that we created our hook in the last class. And here, if we go to create new customer, everything's okay because we haven't created nothing yet. We can go, I will put my name here. You guys are seeing all my information here. Ramos, and I will put 1 2 3 1 2 3 and 1 2 2 1 2 3 because it is just dummy data too. And I will execute create here, and will take a while. And as you can see, everything now my new guy was created here, and now I finally, so our hooks worked. Our hooks worked successfully. What happened in the background basically? Remember that I created this method that comes from React forms, hooks form, that this method is triggered every time the form is submitted. And basically I picked up the data that was inserted in the form and sent to the method that is called a mutate, that will mutate my data, and will call the post HTTP function for fetching the post endpoint. And basically what happened is that we don't have an API yet, so our hooks basically got this request, intercepted this request, and if we go here, our our mock basically intercept this request, as we did in some classes ago. And basically, as we can see, it pushed it. We have our sample customer data, which is a hard-coded array of customers, and we basically pushed a new data to this hard-coded data. That's the only thing that we have done. In the next class, when we create the API, instead of intercepting this and just adding to the hard-coded data, we will have this saved in the database. But basically that is the flow that is happening. And also when the mutate returns success, this guy here, this attribute here, will change the state of the component. The component will render because all those attributes here are synced with the state of the component. So every time one of them changes, the components renders again. So when the post request is successful, basically this guy is updated, his success is updated, and basically we can know that we can move to the first page because everything, the data has been already added, and we don't have anything to improve here. And just one of the other things, just remember that as we are inserting in the mock, we are inserting this in the data that we have loaded from our server. So if I go back to the browser and reload my page, guys will see that we don't have any persistent method yet. We don't have where to persist data, so your data will not be saved if you reload the page. So this was the class 10, which was creating using the hook that we have created, inserting this into a component. I hope you guys enjoying this class. And the next class, as I said, we are going to talk more about one of the things that is left to us is creating the put, the delete, and the request, and also get a single customer. And what we are going to do in the next class is getting a single customer, is writing the basically the hooks for getting a single customer, and also for deleting a single customer too, and then finally in the class 12 we are going to create the update customer hook. So thanks a lot, you guys. See you in the next class. It was a pleasure to teach and also to learn with you as well. And thanks a lot, and see you in the next class.